For those of you that don't know me, my name is Allan Eng, and before I got into this program, this microphone was more like a stick of dynamite. I couldn't wait to get it out of my hands. But now, it's more like a joystick, where I get a lot of pleasure out of it. So yes, my name is Allan Eng. I've been a successful businessman for over 25 years. Owned and operated 20 retail stores in some of the most prestigious malls in Canada. My claim to fame was having the top 5 stores in the country. My reputation in the industry was one of being the top dog. But it wasn't always that way for me. Allow me to take you back to a time and place where I was more like an underdog. I lived my life on a short leash. I felt my voice muzzled, and I felt lost without direction. Growing up, I was expected to attend university and graduate either as an accountant, doctor, lawyer, you know, something that my parents could show off. For me, though, the honor roll looked more like Mount Everest. And not being able to make the grade, I had to choose a different path in my life. But in my parents' eyes, I disappointed. Not being able to measure up, I mattered as much as yesterday's newspaper. Mom, Dad, why could you accept and love me for who I am and supported me for the choices that I made in my life? The silent anger that raged inside of me as I hungered for approval and attention. But the only attention I ever received were from the bullies in school. I was teased for the color of my skin, for my poor grades, for my Coke bottle glasses, for my buck teeth. I, like most of you, I just wanted to fit in. But the only thing I ever fit into were the school lockers that I was pushed inside of. They were a dark, cold, isolated place. But when I got used to them, they became my safe haven, away from the bullies and my escape from life. The pain and the shame for my sense of unworthiness and insignificance was what motivated me to want to prove the world wrong. The wounds were deep. The pain was chronic. And in order to numb the pain, I turned to drugs. The drug of choice for me was work. I became a workaholic. 24/7, whatever it took. The side effects of this behavior included emotional numbness, isolation, and control issues. But through all this doom and gloom, there was one glitter of hope. it is said that 38% of workaholics earn over $80,000 a year. And I was one of those fortunate ones. I became a self-made millionaire with a very successful business in my early 30s. I'm in the money. I'm in the money. Woo-hoo! Both you and I know there was no kicking this addiction. I was on a high because for the first time in my life, I was a somebody. And there was no looking back. Next on the never-ending to-do list. And I'm sure some of you in here have a similar list. The next things on my list, and as if they were things, was to marry the woman of my dreams and to have 2 beautiful kids. On the outside, I had it all. I was a show dog. But truth be known, I was still unfulfilled, emotionally bankrupt, to tell you the truth. There was still something missing in my life, and that something missing was me. Who's been to a high school reunion? Might I ask? Anybody in here? A few of you? Well, I'm going to let you all in on a little secret, okay? When I went to my 30th, I went there with the intention of showing off all my accomplishments. I bet none of you have ever done that, eh? But when I walked into that room that night, it was like deja vu all over again. Because the way I felt was exactly how I felt 30 years prior when I lived my life in that locker. And it's at that time that I knew I needed help. Because as much as everything had changed on the outside, nothing had changed on the inside. But asking for help wasn't one of my strengths. Can any of you relate with that? When I finally found the courage to seek help, I reunited with someone I'd actually met 20 years prior when I first started asking, what was the meaning of life? Have any of you asked that question? I reunited with something referred to as Dove Barron. I don't know what the other speakers are referring to tonight. Dove Barron is not a real person. He's man's best friend. He's sort of a cross between a pit bull and a chihuahua. A pit bull in the sense that he's powerful, intense. I dare not look him in the eye because he sees right through me. And a chihuahua, high-strung, yet sensitive. But with the constant barking in my ear, even when I wasn't in class, I would hear that, Allan, you must dig deeper. Dig deeper. So deeper I dug into my past till one day I discovered what I had buried way back in my past, which was my self-worth. And from there, I learned the need to invest into that thing that I've been avoiding the most in my life, which was me. From there, I learned the need to acknowledge and love myself for the unique person that I am, which includes all my imperfections. And to be present and enjoy the process of whatever I was doing, and not just simply focusing in on the end result. Unmasked, my body armor pierced, I was exposed to my core with nowhere to hide. And this is when it really got scary, because I didn't know who I was at this point. I was in no man's land. Part of me just wanted to run back to the safety and comfort of that locker, to be the adult version of that trophy kid who was still trying to please mom and dad. But this time, I had financial success on my backing me. I had a beautiful wife, and I had my own version of my 2 trophy kids. But in my heart, I knew I couldn't go back there. So I cast my fears aside, and I persevered to where I am today. No longer afraid of being seen and being heard. You know how some people measure their self-worth by how much money they have, by their status in life, how many people they can please, maybe how many trophy kids they have? I'm sure none of you have done that. But I have. And you know how some people avoid conflict and confrontation at all costs, just wishing everyone would just get along? Well, I used to be the peacekeeper in my family. How about in yours? And you know how some people make their work or their business their primary relationship in life? A never-ending, unfulfilling love affair where you just keep giving and giving and giving and getting nothing back in return but a paycheck. The problems are when you work more and achieve more, or you're constantly trying to please others, it doesn't give you long-term fulfillment and happiness. At best, it just gives your ego a short-term boost. Because at the end of the day, you need to ask yourself, have your needs been looked after? Because for me, the answer was a clear no. Whether I had 15 stores or 20 stores or 200, it was just a number at the end of the day. And when we avoid conflict and confrontation, the problems just don't magically disappear. And what's worse is when your opinions and your feelings don't get expressed. The resentment inside just builds and builds till one day you either blow up or you go numb and dead inside, which is what happened to me. And when it's all work and no play, means your family and friends are getting neglected. And seemingly so, everyone just drifts further and further away from you. Thus the saying, it's lonely at the top. Have any of you felt that way before? Because I know I did. We all know if we had a safe and supportive environment from which to be authentic, who we really are, and to be able to speak from the heart, that our self-worth would grow internally, and we wouldn't need to constantly be looking outwards for the validation of who we are. And if we had a system from which to deal with conflict and confrontation in a healthy manner, that we would have a strong foundation from which to build relationships that are based on trust and respect and not fear. And we all know that for real relationships to start or to flourish, that we got to stop making our work or our business our number one priority. So imagine it's 5 a.m. on a cold, rainy winter morning. You wake up, look at the clock, and you realize you don't have to get up for another 14-hour day. So instead, roll over in your warm bed and cozy up to the person that matters most in your life. Because your business is no longer controlling you. So savor some extra time in the morning with the kids. Drive them to school. And then nourish your body with an invigorating workout as the rush hour passes you by. Well, you don't have to imagine any longer, because that is exactly the life that I'm living right now. So it is with gratitude and respect to Dove Barron International and the Authentic Speaker Academy for Leadership for allowing me to see the light of day when all I've done in the past was live in darkness. It's an exclusive program that you must apply for and be accepted into. It's intense and results-driven. Par for the course here won't cut it. But what it will give you is amazing coaching, all the tools and techniques that you will need to put you in the driver's seat to navigate the ups and the downs and the twists and the turns that life will throw at you. And know, you like me understand the importance of return on investment. And let me say, when you invest into this program, it will pay dividends for you not only personally, but professionally as well. When you implement what you learned in the curriculum, it will give you the confidence and also the ability, like it has for me, to be empowered, to love, dream, and live the life that you can only imagine. It all starts by feeling comfortable in your own skin, to truly believe in yourself, to own your intrinsic net worth, because you are all far richer than you give yourself credit for. Your assets as a person, and I'm not talking monetarily, far surpass your liabilities. So believe in yourselves. Let me ask you, and be honest, have you maximized the return on your most valuable asset, which is you? If not, this is what you will want to do after the end of the presentations tonight, is to come see me at the back of the club, and I will personally answer any questions you might have as to how the Authentic Speaker Academy for Leadership can be put to work for you, to allow you to be able to live the life that you were born to. So thank you very much. And in closing, I just want to say, it's important to remember it's not the size of the dog in the fight that matters. It's the size of the fight in the dog that really matters. So thank you everyone for being an amazing audience. My name again is Allan Eng. Thank you.